What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action, spawning on the right side of the map in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Eric. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Brickhead. The map is Watering Hole. This is the best of 5 series for the Challengers League semi-finals. This is the first of the 2 semi-finals for the Challenge League. So if you're not caught up, get caught up. If you haven't seen the quarterfinals, go see the quarterfinals. If you've already seen the second one of the semi-finals, come back and watch the first. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Anyways, Eric versus Brickhead. They've both been playing an incredibly strong tournament thus far. Brickhead finishing first in his group. Eric finishing second in his group. Brickhead with an incredibly dominating display. I don't think he's dropped a series thus far in this tournament. Eric, on the other hand, I do believe he has dropped maybe 1 series or 2 in his group stages. I can't exactly remember who it was to, but somewhere along the lines. So he's got, he's got someone to prove basically here. I think. No, not Eric and Brickhead. So Eric was knocked out of the qualifiers by Mr. Boit. Brickhead was knocked out of the qualifiers, I believe, by Count Von Count. So both of these players were knocked out by very, very strong champions players, but the lower, basically the champions who kind of finished lower in the end of their groups, it seems. So the level that these guys are displaying is as close to the champions level as you're going to see. And not only that, one of the huge things that I've seen happen over the course of this tournament for several players, the course of this tournament, the course of last season, the other season, every season I see this happening, players' skill levels up. Their ability to make quick, very, very difficult decisions and great decisions very, very quickly, obviously. I already said that. But their ability to do that it goes up incredibly. And that's part of the reason why I absolutely love the challenges portion of this tournament, because it gives those next echelon of players that opportunity to get their level up, get the experience, so that when they play in kind of more of an open style tournament, a bracket style tournament, they're already prepared for what tournament games feel like. And they're ready to start playing them however at their actual level, rather than not. Plus, also the added benefit being that tournament games give you a lot more feedback, in my opinion, than random ladder games. I don't know why, but that seems to be the case, in my opinion. As Brickhead scouting around, Eric getting a little bit harassed onto the Skraling, but not going to be doing all too much. If he wants to harass that Skraling, he is also hurting his own scouting. As Brickhead in his main base, he's got himself 2 Ulfsuck out already. Villagers moving forward here to eat the hunt. We do see Thor versus Zeus. Now, in terms of the Norse gods against Zeus, Thor probably arguably better than Odin in a very, very small way, better than Odin. And we do indeed see that Brickhead here has decided not to drop his gold mine in his main base, and he's covering his talented. I love that play from Brickhead. But Thor a touch better than Odin. Loki a completely different kettle of fish in this matchup. But all of the Norse gods are going to have a decent shot at beating Zeus in this game and in this matchup. And Eric here, obviously the Zeus main is going to be wanting to pick Zeus here. He's not going to want to pick Hades. He's not going to want to pick Poseidon most of the time here. He's probably just going to go Zeus for every single game and try and make it work out. From what I've heard, both of these players have been preparing for this series by doing training games with a whole bunch of different players and just making sure that they've got their strategies on lock. Now we see the Athena coming through, a perfect 430 here for Eric. He's getting himself his Jason. He's getting himself his Odysseus. The Minotaur coming out as well. And we do see double Military Academy coming through here for Eric to start the game off. We've seen this before from Eric. I like the idea. Starting with those hoplites means that his opponent has to go in to throw an Axeman straight away. Otherwise, life is going to be very, very tough at the start of this game, because the Hearser that Norse is going to be able to build straight away end up becoming a little bit less effective, because those hoplites, not only are they faster than the Toxotes, so they traverse the map quicker, but the hoplites also get a lot have a lot more survivability than those Toxotes do. As the Minotaur coming in, we do see the forest fire getting dropped down here as the Skrelling going to be harassing some villagers over here. The Minotaur gets a little bit distracted as that forest fire comes in, and Hamal Lightbreaker almost able to take out that Minotaur here as the Valkyrie is in on this position, not bolting that one there, as Eric is holding off on the bolt for the time being, as Odysseus and Jason coming through here. He can start taking out that Valkyrie. It looks like he doesn't want to use bolt on it, wants to save it for potentially a Frost Giant in this matchup. As the Jason and Odysseus getting that damage done. And Brickhead here, he is throwing away that Valkyrie there, basically for free in a way, but he also gets the Minotaur kill. His villagers will have to leave this location over here. They're going to be making their way up onto the Rhinoceros over on this position. We do see longhouses coming up, but Brickhead is already starting to build raiding cavalry. So in the grand scheme of things here, Eric is in a good position because he hasn't gone for those Toxotes just yet. Do we see any Throw and Axemen coming out is the big question. There's already 6 villagers on wood here for Brickhead, as he's still building those raiding cavalry. Going to be looking for some raids here, you'd have to assume, as the hoplites coming through to snipe down this sentry tower. It does open up the base of Brickhead quite significantly here. As the town center, though, is getting a little bit of damage. If you're in this position and you don't want to fight with these Hearser, the best place for them to actually sit is inside the town center, because you're going to get like a little bit more damage done. As the raiding cavalry are going to be looking for some villager kills over here. We also see the archery ranges up now for Eric, 54 of 55 population, as the raiding cavalry come in onto this position here, going to start sniping some villagers, as Eric needs to pull those away. He is waiting on that house to pop, and that army will all pop out here to defend, as this villager over here will get sniped. Nice play from Brickhead. Great micro over here, as the Katoskopos does get taken down. Eric is searching around for some villagers here at this moment. As the hoplite pops out, Eric is still housed. Is he building that house? He gets it up, and that's going to allow the hoplite to pop out, the Toxotes to pop out. One hoplite over here will get sniped down, as the villagers will retreat back home, as medium raiders comes through for Brickhead. He has got some good trades thus far. Eric is in front on the village account, however, up by 4 villagers. I'm not sure if that's because of the Ulfsark training, Oxcart training, and everything like that, or if Brickhead's been missing training cycles here, as his villagers a little bit idly by. Watchtowers is up. The army pushes forward over here for Brickhead. He still needs those throwing axemen out, as he has started to train them now. Eric with a ton of hoplites here, but no Toxotes. Well, one Toxote, but very, very few Toxotes in the army here, as those hoplites here trying to push through. But honestly, without the Toxotes, the big problem here is that you can't just sit in here with the Toxotes and snipe dwarves. That's another thing that he's got to deal with. There's Brickhead searching around yet again for some more villagers to kill. Eric's in his main base. I wouldn't mind seeing a wall over here, given the fact that this would completely cut off this position for the raiding cavalry to run through. But Eric's going to have to figure that one out as the game goes on. We do see a Dwarven Armory coming up. Brickhead's not slowing down on the production, though he's not getting himself out Hearser anymore. He's already got the 5 Hearser. There's no myth units coming in. The Rhino getting eaten up. And look at this. He's got the Gazelle on the back position over here as well. If we take a look at the minimap here, this is also completely wall-offable. If that's a word or not, I don't know, but we're gonna claim it wall-offable, as he could wall this location here and basically prevent Eric from stopping this hunt from coming in. So Brickhead's going to be on hunt for what seems to me to be the entirety of this classical age, which means he's got nothing to worry about. He's also, the problem though, is he doesn't have a gold mine scouted, and there aren't any gold mines down this side. So he might find himself doing something he doesn't want to do by accidentally sending his dwarves down there in search of a gold mine. But we'll see how that's going to go, with the dwarves still getting pulled back here. The villagers now making their way over the other side of the map to get the Gazelle, as the raiding cavalry swinging through, looking for a raid onto this position over here. He will find some villagers, but the hoplites are in hot pursuit. Hoplites move significantly slower than the raiding cavalry, but they do counter the cavalry very, very nicely, as those Toxotes snipe a throw an axeman there. This is exactly what he needs to do. And this is I've said this before, and I don't know if Eric's listened to me or he's worked it out by himself, but control grouping the Toxote and the hoplites into separate groups means you can very easily take this fight that obviously Brickhead doesn't want to do here, but you can easily take the fight and get a lot of kills with those Toxotes on the front. The other thing you do is you can set the hoplites behind the Toxotes such that you can speed walk the Toxotes back into position if the raiding cavalry are coming through. Little tricks of the Athena rush that have been used by the experts of old for a very, very long time, and they're going to continue to be used and learned about over the course of Age of Mythology's existence here. Is Eric going to be almost losing a villager there? Is Brickhead going to be retreating away as the villager's starting to shank? The distraction action here from Brickhead is going fairly well for him. He's about to be able to advance to the next age. The problem that he will find himself in if he keeps going the way he's going is that once he clicks up to the heroic age, Eric is going to be 115 population. The army of Brickhead is not going to be enough to stop the hoplites rushing in here to take the town center down. And obviously Brickhead, he wants that town center, and Eric knows it. It's 10 minutes and 34 seconds into the game. The army pushing in here. Oxcart going to be taken down here. The hoplites targeting that town center. There's very few amounts of units remaining here. As Brickhead trying to defend this one as best as he can. He's got the towers shooting. He's got the town center shooting as well. Restoration hasn't been dropped down just yet by Eric. He doesn't even need the restoration because he's so far in front on the population. But there's the restoration going down. The town center is getting torn down, ladies and gentlemen, as Brickhead, simply put, did not build enough units here. And Eric, rightly so, punished him for that one. But Brickhead's still got plenty of resources in the bank. Eric is technically out of position here. If Brickhead can make some units here, he can fight his way back in to this game as the Valkyrie's popping out. The villagers trying to gather this gold after all is said and done. We do see a bolt there onto the Valkyrie because there's no heroes on this position here for Eric just yet. No heroes coming out over here either. The army will start retreating back now. For Eric, he's done the damage. He's done the dash. He's going to get out of there now and try and work his way into the next phase of the game, whether that's getting himself a second town center or going to the heroic age. We'll see what his decision is going to be. Brickhead getting himself hand axe here as well. This here is so good from Eric. I love the play. Great, brutal timing there from Eric. But Brickhead, he's not out of it just yet. He's going to be chucking down his watchtower, trying to get his units back out. Eric retreating back for the time being as he is throwing away a handful of units here. The gold is still gatherable in the main base for just a little bit longer. And Brickhead, he needs to get his town center back up. The longer this goes on, the further Eric will be able to get in front. But the raiding cavalry, they're still searching for villager kills here. If he can kill a villager every 15 seconds or so, he will be able to keep himself at this kind of deficit, which will definitely work out for him. As the raiding cavalry Valkyrie army is starting to move out. Brickhead at this point, getting himself up more longhouses. Got himself the raiding cavalry, the throwing axeman coming in here as well. One villager will end up getting sniped here. Got a question in the chat from Jaguar Rush. How is this balanced? Well, let me explain. Eric was at 115 population. Brickhead was at 85 population. Something like that. Maybe it was 105. Let's just call it a 20 population deficit. That's 5 unit deficit. Underneath the town center is worth about 2 to 4 population, depending on how you calculate it in terms of DPS. So the army, by all rights, should be able to sit underneath that town center and fight it, being up 20 population. That's just how it's balanced. If Brickhead had another extra 20 population himself, he most likely would have been able to defend that position.
Not a regular, but watching your AOM campaign playthrough on YouTube from years back. Good stuff. Cheers.
And thank you so much, King Ziki. Appreciate you for checking out the old content. That means a lot. Is the army coming back in to this position to try and deny the town center from coming up? Brickhead still trying to find villager kills. Thundering Hoofs coming through for Brickhead as well as his temple is getting taken down. This town center does not look like it's going to be able to get up for the time being here as the hoplites can target that down, or the Toxotes as well can target that down. Brickhead here, he needs to pull off of the town center for the time being and take this fight here. Eric is still up on the population. The tower is helping out. The throwing axeman getting pulled off, leaving one throwing axeman behind as Brickhead bringing all of his units in. The dwarves coming through to help out as well. Toxotes able to snipe down those throwing axemen on the back as Eric retreating back. The villagers now moving up onto the gold mine here, and it does look like Eric has been pushed back for the time being. He still doesn't have himself the heroes out, it seems. I don't know where they are. It looks like he's not. They're queued up. One thing he could do as well is get himself out some Minotaurs here. Wouldn't be the worst of ideas with 78 favor in the bank here. As the town center coming back up for Brickhead. Brickhead actually decided to move away from this home gold mine. It's only got 251 gold in it, but leaving that there and going on to the next gold mine outside of his base. Eric pulling ahead just a little bit in terms of the villager count. Not as much as I would have expected considering the amount of idle town center time that's been forced onto Brickhead here. But the town center is back up. Brickhead's going to be wanting to put that temple down. He's actually got no villagers on... he's got no villagers on the food anymore. There are some elephants here that he could move forward and sneak if he wants to as well at any point in this game. We'll see if he's going to decide to do that as the raiding cavalry moving across the map. Brickhead is kind of relieved all of that pressure. He does need to get himself down a couple more barracks here. Throwing farms up is not what I want to see when you're playing Thor. As we do see those raiding cavalry trying to snipe the Jason as Eric pulls back onto this position, trying to defend this one. Eric going to be able to finish up his elephant, getting himself medium infantry as well. Eric could technically right-click on that town center again at this point. As the army is obviously not in at the home base. So if he wants to decide to just bring all his villagers back home for a little bit, he could go for that kind of hoplite attack. As we do see the army coming through into the middle of the base. Brickhead and Eric both paying attention nicely there. They see each other. Brickhead says, all right, I'm going to retreat back home, try and get up to full population. He's got himself bronze shields of Thor coming through. That just means that they're cheaper. 200 wood, 100 gold because he is Thor. All of those Valkyries are out. Are very, very scary, but the heroes are obviously very strong here for the Zeus as well to deal with them. But at this point now, Eric, he's going to be going to the heroic age, it seems. He's getting himself that armory up in his main base. The raiding cavalry see no villagers on the food over there, though there are villagers on this gold mine here if Brickhead wants to attack it. As the hoplites coming through, getting a little bit of a shanky shank on this one. Brickhead going to be retreating away for the time being. As we do see Eric, he's happily grabbing all of Brickhead's hunt in the center of the map here. Eric's plan, generally speaking, in these Greek against Zeus versus Norse fights is to get to Hera as fast as he can, because Hera effectively deletes an army and allows him to mow through an enemy's base. So Brickhead's got himself a little bit of a timer here to survive. So he definitely should be thinking about taking some fights moving forward here. He does have the bronze shields. So that's going to be a huge help. The hoplites, Toxotes are moving in to check out this gold mine, and there are a ton of villagers on it. And Eric, he's also going to be getting a hit on this gold mine as well. 39 villagers apiece here. Both players here are going to be losing a ton of villagers as the Valkyrie raiding cavalry coming in to try and stop the retreat here. As it does look like Brickhead has lost more villagers at this point, but with the Valkyrie and raiding cavalry coming in on the other side to take out the villagers, it looks like it's probably going to be in the favor of Brickhead after all is said and done. But Eric says, well, I've done this once before. 16 hoplites going to be moving in to the main base here to take down that town center yet again. No masons is up here. No units in this base here for Brickhead at this point. Dionysus is on the way as well for Eric, so he can click that bronze if he so chooses to keep his units alive for a much longer period of time. The towers are helping defend this, though, as the army coming back for Brickhead. The raiding cavalry can move straight on to the Toxotes over here, as well as the throw and axemen come in. The hoplites do get pulled back. Eric will be pulling away. He's kind of made a bit of a mistake here by making that attack, and Brickhead has punished him very, very severely here. Villager differential, after it's all said and done, is only 2, and it's in the favor of Brickhead, as he is getting some great raids with those raiding cavalry, really causing a lot of chaos here for Eric's army. As Eric retreats back home, the army over here entirely cleaned up, as that mistake from Eric will cost him that Mythic Age timing that he was going for dearly. He's getting himself... Oh, you do see the temple coming up now for Brickhead. Brickhead is obviously still stuck in this classical age. He does still have 2 elephant up here, plus he's got the crowned crane on this position as well. So he's got a lot of different options here. As the army moving back in for Eric, going to be looking for something to kill. There's a lot of elephants actually still in the main center of the map, and Eric is being smart. He's not really built a whole lot of farms. You don't really want to build farms if there's hunt on the map. At the very least, you want to be getting yourself as much of the hunt as you can with as many villages as you possibly can here. As now we see iron shields of Thor coming through, as that completely puts a stop to the amount of damage that those Toxotes are going to be doing. Look at the raiding cavalry, for example. They're already at 47% pierce armor. They're going to go up to like 52% or something, 53% from memory pierce armor, which means those Toxotes go from 7 damage down to like 3 damage, 3.5 damage or something. Absolutely insane amount of ability to play around that, as we do see the Pegasus has scouted this out for the time being. I'd love to just see those farms abandoned by Brickhead here, and he just moves up onto these elephant with an ox cart, as we do see some longhouses coming down, the raiding cavalry coming in to push the villagers off of this position, as well as Eric pulling in to the town center here. He's going to be losing a handful of villagers yet again, as the raiding cavalry still searching around. Eric is almost back up to full population, but at this point, if Brickhead has got enough buildings out, even with the heroic age under the belt for Eric, that's not going to be enough to deal with the armory upgrades that Brickhead has here, as Brickhead's Valkyrie going to be getting a little bit of damage done onto these villages. We do see the villagers turning around and shanking as the raiding cavalry trying to get some good damage done onto those hoplites. The raiding cavalry have also now got themselves copper mail as well, as Brickhead's food is starting to skyrocket. We do see the villagers have all moved over onto this elephant now to finish that one off and get Brickhead the resources to get to that heroic age. And he will be going there right about now. He's going through Skadi, the raiding cavalry retreating back, the dwarves pulling back off of the elephant, coming back over onto this large gold mine. He's also still got the gold mine up on this position. There is still going to be a very difficult thing for both players to deal with. So one is that Frost should kill an entire army of Brickheads. Frost should kill an entire army of Eric's. But Eric's lightning storm will kill an entire army of Brickheads. So it ends up being relatively equal, but then we still have a mythic age to come for Brickhead after all is said and done, as we do see some towers coming down on this position here, as Brickhead is playing very, very safe on this one. I'd love to see a town center get started at some point here as well, as we do see the raiding cavalry coming through to pick off a couple more villages over here. Nice raid from Brickhead, getting just a handful of kills. 1, 2, 3 going down. 4 villagers going down there. Nice play, and then Brickhead is just going to get out of here, as Pickaxe coming through here for Eric, as he's got himself that second town center. The buildings in the middle of the map getting taken out. We see the longhouses coming up here. Skadi has hit for Brickhead. There is still bronze remaining, as an immediate Huntress Axe coming through here for Brickhead. I love this wall up on this position, trying to force Eric in here, as the raiding cavalry are still searching around for units to kill. We do see that Frost Giant getting pulled back. No Frost Giants have started up here just yet for Brickhead. He's getting himself Husbandry and Plow a little bit late on that one, but now the hill fort is up. That means Huskal can start. He is getting himself Jarls out at the moment. I'm not sure about the Jarls. Obviously, Jarls against the Hypaspis are always going to be a good option. And with Brickhead having such high pierce armor on those raiding cavalry, you can continue going in with raiding cavalry to deal with the Hypaspis. So like a raiding cavalry Huskal army with a handful of throw and axemen mixed in. That's going to be a scary army to deal with here for Eric. So Eric's now still eating the elephant in the middle of the map. This is so good for Eric. He's had 6 elephant versus 1 elephant of Brickhead. So he's so far in front in terms of that food. As we do see this town center coming up on this position, Brickhead going to attempt to grab that one as well as that middle town center. As we do see the army now coming through. I wouldn't mind seeing Frost onto this position in the slightest here for Brickhead, as he is taking the fight here with the Frost Giants tanking all of those Toxotes, but Eric is on top of it with the micro, ensuring his Toxotes to take the fight. He does move those Toxotes nice and close to the throwing axemen as well. One thing with Huntress Axe versus those throwing axemen and the pierce armor at 34%, the throwing axemen actually technically beat those Toxotes here after all is said and done. 5.85 damage dealing hack against only 15% hack armor. You'd have to assume that the 34% hack pierce armor there, if the Brickhead has managed to get himself, is more than enough to hold here, as we do see the heavy infantry, heavy archers has come through. Military Academy archery range coming up for Brickhead as well. There's the army coming back over here, and Brickhead has managed to clean everything up there. We'll have to see if he's going to decide to try and grab this town center. He does need to have a thought in the back of his mind here that there's only 2 gold mines in the center of the map. And what does that mean? That means that gold staves here are going to be very, very real on that kind of, not the second gold mine, not the third gold mine, but the 4th gold mine in the middle of the map. As we see, Eric's already on that middle one, and there are gold mines. There's another one up here for Eric to grab. So Brickhead's got to be careful. Is that dragon scale shields? No, it's just iron shield. Okay, I thought. Look at the shield he's got. It's so big. Bigger is always better. Right? Except for when it's not. Anyways. Not sure what that Pegasus is trying to do, but I guess Eric is just seeing exactly how much gold is remaining, seeing what he can do in this game. Winter Harvest is coming through. That's going to be a huge food boost for Brickhead. He's got 11 villages on the farms only, though. Oh, well, sorry, 13 villages on the farms only, though. As the raiding cavalry coming back onto this position, the hoplites are in position to defend against this, as Brickhead almost says, I don't care, I just want to pick off villages here. I'm now seeing the army coming through for Eric here, as Brickhead probably still needs to think about getting himself heavy infantry here. That would be the next upgrade, which would be of incredibly important here. As you do see the army coming over here. Can he defend against this one? He has the Huskars to clean up those Toxotes. He has the Thrown Axemen to clean up the Hoplites. As we do see the army just trying to jockey around. Eric wants to push through and get some damage done onto the villages there. And now the raiding cavalry can separate themselves from these hoplites, push up here and try and surround the army. There is still frost remaining for Brickhead, remember that, but he's choosing not to use it. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is here, waiting for that one, but we'll see how it's going to go as the raiding cavalry, they might spot the villages over here. A frost onto this position, hitting those villages. There's what? 13 villages there. A frost here would be absolutely huge as the hoplites coming in. The entirety of the army on this position. No frost being clicked. No bronze getting clicked. There's the frost hitting all the villages. Can he get them? Yes, he can. As the frost goes down, a lot of this army is going to fall, but bronze is still available. The thing to remember, whether it's a bug or not, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. But the thing to remember for frost versus bronze is you need to wait until the pierce and a hack is gone before you click bronze. That is vitally important. If you don't, your bronze will do that much. It will do nothing. I'm sure Eric is aware of it. He's been playing Zeus for a millennia, and I'm sure he's been in this position before. We'll have to wait and see if he makes that blunder or not. As Brickhead is sneaking up a 3rd town center over there with just a handful of units. As the army coming through. You just have to look at this, and you can actually see once the frost finishes, there we go. Now you can click bronze, and he does get that one off nicely. Eric knows, he did it perfectly there. He's going to have a great fight here now. He does have that upgrade of heavy, plus the bronze units. 54% hack armor here against those Thor units, as Brickhead does decide in that moment to pull back, trying to get up this hill fort here as best as he can. We do see the Frost Giant now moving forward as well to help out against the Hydra with 78 HP remaining, as the raids continuing on to Eric's gold mine over here, making a fantastic work of that. Eric has not defended the village as well in this game at all. Brickhead has been making it incredibly tough for him, though, so credit where credit's due. But Eric is definitely hurting because of that, as we see another couple of elephants remaining here for there in the corner. Another couple of elements remaining here on the map here, as Eric is continuing to hunt here, as he is sitting at 121 of 145 population. Brickhead's at 160 of 160 population here, still taking villages down with these 2 very, very low HP medium raiders. And Eric, at this point, he needs to be thinking about getting himself some Hapaspis here, because this army is basically, I mean, he does have some Jarls in it, but it's basically majority infantry units. So if you can get those Hapaspis onto the Thrown Axemen, they do a lot better than the Hoplites. And Brickhead here, he's making a case for not getting line upgrades first. He's going for the Thor armory upgrades first instead of line upgrades. I have done a little bit of math on this as to what is actually better, and I did come to the conclusion that line upgrades, if that's all you're building, are better. But obviously Brickhead is building both cavalry and infantry, so it ends up being a very, very close thing. So basically bronze weapons, mail, and shields equal 1 line upgrade. in terms of the effectiveness there, as Eric does tap out after he gets completely run over in that position. What a game here. What a comeback from Brickhead. He gets his town center mowed down as he was trying to get to that heroic age. He was being very, very greedy by not producing units there. I do think that if the Thor player, simply put, just continues to build, throw an axeman, there's no way for the hoplites to run in. So you can go mass throwing axemen up to 115 population, and your Zeus opponent can't mow your town center down. Yes, his Toxotes will be a pain, but because you've got that gold mine in your base, you don't have much to defend. You just sit in your base, you go heroic age, use the frost, you win the game. That is generally the play of Thor, but Brickhead being greedy by not continuing to build the units did put himself into a really difficult position, but the raids came through clutch there. But to finish my point, if you think about the costing of line upgrades versus the costing of those 3 armory upgrades, so like we said, shields, weapons, mail, all together equal 1 line upgrade, basically. So normally it's 100% line upgrades are the better option, because heavy costs 600 resources here, 600 resources there, 1200 resources. But for Thor, take a look at it. 200, 200, right? 200, 100. So we're at 400. Now we're at 700, and then we're at 1,000. So what's cheaper? 1,000 here. What's cheaper? The armory upgrades are actually cheaper than getting yourself heavy upgrades. Unless you're just building infantry, get yourself the medium upgrades first for sure, and then get yourself all the armory upgrades up to bronze. Is the cheeky difference in terms of effectiveness. It's only a difference of 200 resources, mind you. But smart play here from Brickhead is showing the way. He is definitely the Thor expert to learn from. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next game.